Hi everyone, my name is Kate Knowles. I'm here for our next edition of Scriptly Adapted. We're doing the animated feature film Disney Pixar Big Hero 6.
Guys, what's up? This is Kyode. As Kate told you just now, we're here to do Big Hero 6. Awesome film. I mean,
Great.
Really, since Frozen, I have to say, since Frozen, it's one of the best animated films I've seen since Frozen, and that hasn't been many because I haven't seen many, but it was excellent.
I loved it. I'm going to give you some stats real quick. Basically, the two major movies of this weekend were Interstellar and Big Hero 6, and surprisingly, Big Hero 6 surpassed Christopher Nolan's Interstellar by 6 million, which it was relatively low for Chris Nolan. He hasn't had a movie come in low at the box office since The Prestige.
Look at you, Miss Stats over here.
You know what I mean? You know, you got to do your research. So to actually give you an actual number, it was 56.2 million to be exact. That's how much money they grossed. I think it took about 165 million to make.
Yes.
So they really have to.
They'll reach
they gotta break in more money.
They'll break even,
yeah.
But they'll definitely reach over 160 million. I believe this is a movie that could top that.
Definitely.
Big Hero 6, outstanding as far as outstanding meaning visual and all that stuff. But wait, Kate got more stats. Let's get back to the stats.
Yeah. So basically, if you will believe it or not, this was the second highest rated, second highest animation grossing next to How to Train Your Dragon 2. Surprisingly, that was a stat. I would have expected to hear it was Frozen, but so I was pretty surprised about that. I love How to Train Your Dragon. Big Hero 6 was definitely worth it. It wasn't just for kids. I think that's a misnomer that a lot of animation films get. It was great. You know, you have a cast with Maya Rudolph, Jamie Chung, T.J. Miller, James Cromwell. I mean, it was fantastic. It really was good. You could tell they all had chemistry together, even though it was an animation film. I loved it. I thought the music was great. There was some interesting, there was some interesting storylines that really made you think. It really was touching.
Hero 6 also is based on, loosely, I guess, based on what a Marvel comic. And they developed it for kids and it's Disney, so they took aspects of the comic and made it a little more welcoming for children. Originally it's not a dark comic, but it's definitely your action-based comic, maybe not for your 5 or 6 year old, but maybe for an older audience. But they did take some aspects of that comic and made it into this Disney Big Hero 6, and it was very, very, very well done as far as your visual and taking those aspects and making them more kid-friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically just to give you a premise of the plot. You have a young boy named Hiro. They've taken San Francisco and made it San Francisco, and
very cool.
It's an interesting play on combining the Asian culture with with the California culture, and he's very into bot fighting. Now, in the movie, obviously it's made up, but what you really want to understand is that he's a kid trying to find his way, and he's getting into trouble. He's kind of rebellious, and that's how the movie opens.
Right.
His brother kind of takes him under his wing, gets him enrolled in this tech school, and then it goes from there. I mean, I don't want to give you, I don't want to spoil it for you, but him and his friends become heroes for a specific reason, and you'll find that out in the movie. The characters, like all the different heroes, they had such different personalities, which I thought was really cool.
This was a film where I felt while watching this animated film, I felt like I was almost watching something live action because it was just the personalities. And nowadays with animation, it's not only visually stunning, but now the characters' personalities and the world you're in almost seems real.
Yeah.
And non-animated, and their characters was, like you said, full of personality, full of life, and it was just interesting to see that portrayal on camera in animation form.
Yeah. Because I know, just speaking, kind of going along with what you're saying, Maya Rudolph, I mean, if any of you know who she is, you'll know her mannerisms, and she's very quirky. You know, she got her start on SNL, so she really can tap into those different voices and stuff.
And she played Aunt Cass.
Yeah, and you could see her in the character. Like, when she was doing certain things or saying certain things, like, I just saw Maya Rudolph in my mind. So that was really cool.
And I mean, that's the thing with animation today anyway, is that now your animators are starting to take personality traits from you or mannerisms and now incorporate it into their character that they're creating.
Feel good.
It's a feel-good, fun film.
You had your comic relief.
You had your comic relief, of course, with Wasabi, played by Damon Wayans Jr., who's awesome, and you can tell his voice and the mannerisms, just like Kate said, with the animation and expressing that person playing the character's voice through the animation. You get that definitely with Damon Wayans Jr.
There was a part where he was like wiggling on the bench, and it was just like, because if any of you watch New Girl, you know his mannerisms.
He's also on New Girl.
And he's just like so physically awkward. Like he definitely like is just funny and improvises. I mean, he's a Wayans, so he just improvises anyway. I bet you half his acting on this movie was improvised.
Absolutely.
You could just see it in the way the character moved.
Okay, you know, I gotta say that one thing I really got from this film was the sense of continuing one's legacy in a way. You know, Hito is there to continue his brother's work, and his brother wanted to help people through Baymax by creating this health care buddy, basically. And Baymax was there to kind of help you if you had a cold or if you had a scrape and just tell you what your conditions are. And throughout the entire film, it spoke a lot about healthcare. I'm sorry, it's a kid's film. I don't know if the directors were going that deep into it.
Maybe they were.
But for me, that stood out. Like, it just kept dropping health, take care of yourself, health. So I don't know if that was a play on health and the director's sly saying maybe, us as people need to take care of each other and need to take care of each other's health and just be healthy and whatnot. Or was it just part of the movie? I'm not sure.
I think But
I took that literal. I took that very, I don't know. Maybe that was a message.
What I got from it was that things can be very cold, and you create things to kind of deal with problems, but you don't always tap into the human emotion. You don't always tap into compassion. And as you go throughout the movie, Baymax really becomes this not only sidekick for Hiro, but he becomes the big brother that Hiro loses and the best friend that he loses, and he's able to kind of tap out of the robotics and tap into human emotion. And I think that's big in the healthcare industry because, you get sick and you go through the motions and you do this and you do that and you go to doctors and you get medication, but bedside manner is dying, and no pun intended, and doctors don't really care about their patients really anymore. It's all about fulfilling the FDA requirements and getting their patients healthy. And I think that's what it was about too, is that you have to tap into compassion because that's how you get things accomplished at the end of the day. So in that sense,
we didn't mean to get too deep on the Disney movie.
Of course we did. This is the show, people.
But we did just get deep with that, and that.
If you don't like it, turn us off.
And that's what I thought about. I mean, I thought that was a key point.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. Also too, I love the influence of the Asian culture and how prevalent it was in the movie, and how it was just a kid that was lost.
I love the fictional world of San Francisco. San Francisco. Awesome.
It was really cool.
Great mix of American meets Japanese culture. It was just fun. It was just a fun ride.
Practically all the animation films that are coming out are really hitting the mark. I mean, they're never really bad films. Every film has been a hit. I mean, Brave, Tangled, Frozen, now Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can be so much more creative with animation these days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like you could just do so much. You could create the world, compared to, what these films are doing today, where they're doing mostly adaptations and are limited with how creative and how out there they can go with the world they're creating, the characters they're creating. So that I think that's why animation, you're seeing these great, well done, award-winning films like a Frozen.
Because there's no limit.
Because there's no limit to the imagination when creating this. And that's the key with Big Hero 6. There's no limit to this kid Hito's imagination.
Right.
And he's just so smart and so brilliant. And maybe a lot of kids today can even relate to that. being that kid in school who, is probably not the most popular, but can go home and create something beautiful and has this talent and has this just mind for building or creating or drawing or whatever.
Right.
It touches on probably a lot of kids and speaks a
feeling
lot
where they fit
on that, and feeling where they fit in. And there was a group for Hiro, who which was his brother's group, which were they called each other nerds, and that was the group he fit in, and they accepted him and they loved him for who he was. And it speaks a lot about schools today and relationships between other kids today. And that's very important, and I think they did that with this film.
Absolutely. Guys, check it out. Big Hero 6 just came out on Friday. We hope you like it as much as we did. It was really, really good. Stay tuned. Continue to support all arts, especially independent movies. If you guys want a place, go to Jacob Burns Center in Pleasantville if you're local.
Yes.
Great place, great indie, unique, quirky films that are being showcased there. Other than that, tune into our Facebook page and more importantly, our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And keep, spread the word.
Keep watching, guys.
Yeah.
Next show, Legends and Icons.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye.